Jedi Survivor absolutely sucked on launch, and many people skipped it because of that. But the question is, right now, at the moment, in year 2025, 2026, beyond what, no matter whether you watch, is it worth getting? Should you get it? Should you play it? Or maybe it's worth to return to? So let's discuss that. Let me talk about everything. And as always, let me give you the answer right away. Yes, Jedi Survivor is basically fixed. It's not 100% fixed. There are always an issues, but it's not major, and it's not that big of a deal right now. If you have more or less decent PC, you should be able to run this easily. Just turn off the ray tracing if something goes wrong. That's what's usually causing the problem. And if you're watching this on a Steam sale and the sale is deeper than 70% off, then yeah, it's worth getting. And if you're not watching this on a Steam sale or the sale is not 70% or more off, you can always get this on Instant Gaming for really low price. And don't forget about our Instant Gaming giveaway as well. Every links will be of course in the description. But now let's talk about the details, what Jedi Survivor is, what it does well, and what it does kind of wrong as well. So Jedi Survivor is a continuation of Jedi Fallen Order. You're still playing as Cal Kestis, but right now he's much more experienced, he's older now, and this shows in multiple different ways. First things first, it shows in its combat ability. You feel stronger, you feel better, you feel like you're more experienced Jedi than you were in Fallen Order. You were not strong in Fallen Order. You were just a Padawan, you were just a student that just got into an open world with a lightsaber. And it showed, especially with the final combat in the end boss. I will try to do no spoilers at all in this video, both for Fallen Order and for Jedi Survivor as well. But right here, you are far stronger. Not just combat-wise, but as a personality-wise. You feel older, you feel wiser, and actors playing much better in this game. And the story is also much more mature too. And the first planet feels absolutely amazing to play on. It's Coruscant, okay, it's an opening sequence, so now it's not a big deal. And it feels really good to play from the very beginning. It doesn't feel like you're starting all over again. You basically know most of the things that you knew previously, even though some things are not here. But as you progress, as you become better and better, you become way more powerful than you were. The game is happening on multiple different planets. And to understand how the game world actually works, it's not really an open world. It's more of an open zone where you have one very large level, the main planet Kobo, which is kind of like a huge open world, and you have multiple other planets that you travel to, and which have multiple different paths that you can take in order to progress towards your main goal. Don't get me wrong, this is not a very branching storyline. This is very linear game in its case, and it's very reminiscent of God of War games, the recent God of War game, where you kind of have an open world, but you kind of don't as well, except for the main planet. The main planet is really large, and it opens up in a different ways as you progress through the game and unlock more different abilities. Like for example, many of the planet's sides are actually blocked with different force fields, and at some point in the game you unlock an ability to travel through those force fields, and this unlocks the planet even more. And there are a lot of different things to do as well, a lot of different collectibles to collect, a lot of different missions to take on, a lot of different side missions and side enemies, and bunch of different things, including very interesting cameos as well. So if you are in love with the Star Wars universe, you're gonna love and find a lot of great things in this game, and I mean a lot of it. The game is much larger than Jedi Fallen Order in all the aspects. But the main aspect, the very important aspect of the game is of course the combat and minute-to-minute gameplay. Well, this game is very reminiscent to, well, again, the God of War games. You really need to compare this. There's a lot of platforming, a lot of exploration, a lot of moving around, and you meet a bunch of different enemies from point to point. And if Jedi Fallen Order was more like a Souls-like game, this is less like it. Even though you still have your meditation points and kind of like a bonfire elements, you are much more powerful than you were in the first game, and the challenge is much less. Don't get me wrong, it's not a simple game, it's not easy, but you feel much more powerful and you are up to far bigger challenges than you were in the first game. Like for example, in the first game, it was quite easy to be defeated by few stormtroopers if you didn't know how to play the game, at least in the beginning. Right here, you are much more powerful to take on multiple different enemies, including, well, entire platoons of stormtroopers. Again, no spoilers here. And it feels really good. You feel really powerful, but not in an overpowered way. You require a bunch of skill in order to fight this game as well. But what I really like is a variety in a gameplay. You can play in multiple different ways because you have so-called stances in the game. Like stances are basically different ways to use your lightsabers and your weapons, and also, well, using different weapons as well. There are a few stances in the game, like for example the main one is your main single-bladed lightsaber, and you can fight like regular, well, Jedi. You also have an ability to dual wield, basically having two lightsabers. You have the lightsaber staff, just like the Darth Maul has, and as you progress in the game, you also unlock the crossguard, which is basically the same lightsaber that Kylo Ren used in the sequel trilogy, but much more stable and much larger as well. This is basically a claymore, like two-handed large weapon, which is really fun to use. And you also unlock the blaster stance as well, which was one of the more interesting ways to play the game. But it basically hold lightsaber in one hand and the blaster in another, which unlocks a bunch of different new ways to play this game. And you can equip two stances at the same time at any time, and you can change this all during the meditation. And I absolutely love that these different ways to play the game. And every single stance has their own progression systems and their own progression trees, different perks, different abilities, and I absolutely loved playing with each and every one of them. It was really fun to play with. And with a bunch of different enemy variety, which is much larger than Fallen Order, you have a bunch of different ways to use these different lightsabers. And yeah, different enemies respond in different ways to different stances. I mean, yeah, you will require different stances to defeat enemies easier or more difficult way. And one thing that really needs appraisal, and one thing that really needs to be mentioned, is a thing that not a lot of people are mentioning it. It's the sounds of the game. First thing, soundtrack. It really feels like you're playing a Star Wars game. It feels absolutely just like John Williams' score. It feels and sounds absolutely amazing. And of course, other sounds as well. Like Star Wars sounds are iconic, and it's really important for the game to replicate that. This game does it absolutely flawlessly. But now let's talk about the story. Don't worry, I'm not gonna be doing any spoilers, even though the game is quite a few years old, but still no spoilers. Just like the first game, this game has much more grounded and much more self-contained story. This is not the galaxy-saving story. This is just something very small in scope and in size, just like in Fallen Order. But it also expands on everything that we did in Fallen Order, even though the actual goals are a bit more different, quite a bit more different. You're still on a run from an empire. You still need to find some MacGuffin and things like that, but how it's done is very important, and how it's done is very interesting. You still meet all of the previous game's characters and bunch more, and you travel from planet to planet, and every planet has their own stories and has their own lore, and it's very deeply intertwined with your own story. And I like that. I like that quite a lot. And of course, every single planet has their own different kind of gameplay mechanics as well. Like for example, one planet is purely made for platforming, and it's, yeah, you need to jump a lot and climb a lot on that planet. Even though platforming is deep and very interesting and very integral element of every single planet, some planets are doing this more. And I wouldn't say that this is boring. It's actually quite interesting to platform in this game, especially with all the abilities that you unlock. And every single planet kind of gives you more additional abilities that you can use in different parts of the game, mainly on a main planet. And because of how well the characters are written, how well the characters are acting, the story is very interesting. You are on the edge of the seat and just waiting for what will happen next. And game has quite a lot of different interesting set pieces, and it's quite interesting. Probably one of my favorite of mine was the flying sequence, I'm gonna call it like that, and it was absolutely beautiful with everything leading up to it, and of course with the actual sequence as well. I enjoyed it a lot. Game also has very interesting dark side sequence, which I absolutely enjoyed too, and the reveals and plot twists in the game was, even though kind of visible for some people a mile away, it still was quite surprising. Again, not trying to do any spoilers here. But now let's talk about the pricing. How much game will cost you and where you can get the game for the cheapest. The first things first, game is often on a sale on Steam, and if you're watching one of those sales, just make sure that the sale is quite deep. If it's 70% or more, yeah, just get the game. This is an amazing deal. The game is absolutely a blast, and you're gonna enjoy it quite a lot. If it's not on a sale, or it's on 70% or less, or you are finding this someone for 7% or less, again, as I said, on Instant Gaming, you can get this game for sub $20, which is absolutely insane deal. But that's not all. You can get this game on a Game Pass as well. It's available on a Game Pass and on EA Play. So if you have one of those things, one of those subscriptions, or you have Game Pass Ultimate, which includes EA Play, you can play this game for, well, not free, but you already have the game. This is one of the better games of those subscription services, and you kind of need to get it and play it and enjoy it there. Technically, game is not flawless, especially on the PC, but it's way better compared to what it was. Just make sure that you have at least the minimum specs for the PC, and just go and enjoy this fully. And this video is sponsored by channel's partner and supporter, Instant Gaming. If you want best games for the best prices all the time, all year round, without waiting for any sales, Instant Gaming is the way to go. You can find all types of games for all the different platforms, and most importantly, for the cheapest prices possible. And I also partner with Instant Gaming for epic game giveaway of your choice. So click the link in the description down below for your chance to win. Thanks to Instant Gaming gaming for their support. And now let's get back to the video. And if you're interested in how the game was actually on launch, this is actually my original review that you can watch right here. Or if you prefer Souls-like games that are a bit simpler, just like this game is, and want something that is much more fun and much more gritty, you can watch my review of Lies of P right here as well. Don't forget to subscribe right here. This will be for today. I'm gonna see you in the next one. Take care.